In the rolling hills of rural Kentucky, where the bluegrass whispered secrets to the wind and the sun painted golden hues on endless fields, Marcus Harlan lived a life as steady as the ancient oaks that dotted his family farm. At 78 years old, Marcus was a man forged by the soil, calloused hands from decades of tilling earth, a weathered face etched with lines of laughter and loss, and eyes that held the quiet wisdom of someone who had seen seasons come and go without complaint. The farm had been in the Harlan family for 3 generations, a sprawling 200 acres of cornfields, pastures, and a modest red brick farmhouse that smelled of fresh-baked bread and pipe tobacco. Marcus's wife, Eleanor, had been the heart of it all. She passed away 6 months earlier from a sudden stroke, leaving a void as vast as the empty barn where they used to dance under the harvest moon. Eleanor was the one who balanced the books, managed the investments in quiet evenings by the fire, and kept their only son, Victor, grounded during his rebellious teenage years. Victor, now 45 and living in the bustling chaos of Louisville, had always been ambitious. Too ambitious, Marcus often thought. As a boy, he'd dreamed of city lights and big deals, not the dirt under his nails. After Eleanor's funeral, Victor's visits became more frequent, but they carried an undercurrent of urgency. "Dad, the farm's too much for you now," he'd say, sipping coffee at the old oak kitchen table. "You're not getting any younger. Sell it, invest the money wisely. I can help you find a nice place in town, assisted living maybe. You'd have company, meals prepared. It's for your own good." Marcus would nod, staring out the window at the fields that had sustained them through droughts, floods, and the Great Recession. He knew Victor's help came with strings. Victor ran a real estate firm in Louisville, flipping properties and chasing the next big development. His lifestyle was flashy, a sleek BMW, designer suits, and a wife named Clarissa who spent more on handbags than Marcus did on farm equipment in a year. But Marcus loved his son, flaws and all. "I'll think about it, son," he'd reply, though in his heart he had no intention of leaving the land that held Eleanor's spirit. One crisp autumn morning, as leaves turned fiery red, Victor arrived unannounced with a stack of papers. "Dad, I've got an offer on the farm. It's generous, enough to set you up comfortably for life." Marcus felt a pang in his chest. The offer was from a corporate agribusiness looking to turn the land into a massive soybean operation. "I don't know, Victor. This place, it's more than dirt." Victor's eyes hardened, a mix of frustration and something darker. "Dad, Mom's gone. You can't manage this alone. Think of it as her legacy, turning it into security for all of us." Marcus signed the preliminary papers that day, his hand trembling, but Victor assured him it was just exploratory. Little did Marcus know, Victor had already forged ahead, using his power of attorney, granted during Eleanor's illness, to close the deal secretly. Within weeks, the farm was sold for $1.2 million, most of which Victor funneled into his latest venture, a luxury condo project in downtown Louisville. The betrayal unfolded swiftly. Movers arrived one rainy afternoon, packing Marcus's belongings into boxes. Victor stood there, umbrella in hand, his face a mask of false concern. "Dad, I found you a spot at Willow Creek Nursing Home. It's top-notch. Activities, nurses on call. You'll love it," Marcus protested, his voice cracking. "This is my home, Victor. You can't just—" "It's done, Dad. For your own good." Victor drove him to the nursing home, a sterile building on the outskirts of Lexington, and left with a hurried hug. "I'll visit soon. Get settled." That was the last Marcus heard from him for months. Calls went unanswered, letters returned unopened. Victor was too busy living large, the farm's proceeds fueling his ambitions. Alone in his small room at Willow Creek, surrounded by the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant chatter of other residents, Marcus felt discarded like an old plow. But grief sharpened his resolve. One night, sorting through the few boxes Victor had allowed him to keep, Marcus found a sealed envelope tucked into Eleanor's old recipe book, her handwriting on the front, "For Marcus, when the time comes." Inside was a letter, dated a year before her death. "My dearest Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and perhaps our boy has shown his true colors. I always suspected Victor's heart leaned toward gold over grain. Over the years, while you tended the fields, I tended our future. I invested wisely. Stocks, bonds, even some gold I bought during the dips. It's all hidden in the old barn, behind the loose panel in the hayloft. Worth millions now. I kept it secret to protect us, and to test him. Use it wisely, my love. Teach him if you can. Forever yours, Eleanor. Marcus's heart raced. The barn, now part of the sold farm. But he had to know. Feigning a day trip with the nursing home's shuttle, he hitchhiked back to the property. The new owners hadn't moved in yet. The place was eerily quiet. In the barn, he found the loose panel, and behind it, a vault. Inside, stacks of gold coins, certificates for investment portfolios, and bank statements showing a net worth of over $15 million. Eleanor's shrewd trading in tech stocks like Apple and Amazon, started in the 90s, had multiplied their modest savings into a fortune. Tears streamed down Marcus's face. Eleanor had seen what he hadn't, Victor's greed, but she also believed in redemption. Marcus pocketed a few documents, resealed the vault, and returned to Willow Creek, his mind ablaze with a plan. He would feign poverty, let Victor's world crumble, and orchestrate lessons from the shadows. The hidden legacy would reveal itself when the time was right. Chapter 2. The Rise and Cracks in the Empire. Victor Harlan lounged in his penthouse office overlooking the Ohio River, the Louisville skyline gleaming like a trophy. The farm sale had been a godsend, $1.2 million injected into his condo project, Riverfront Luxe. With Clarissa by his side, hosting lavish parties for investors, life was a whirlwind of champagne toasts and power lunches. "This is our ticket to the big leagues," he'd tell her, clinking glasses. But cracks were forming. Victor's business partner, Derek Voss, was a slick operator from Chicago, promising quick returns on risky flips. Derek had convinced Victor to leverage the farm money into high-stakes loans for the condos, betting on a booming market. "Trust me, Vic," Derek said, flashing a Rolex. "We'll double it in 6 months." Unbeknownst to Victor, Derek was skimming, falsifying invoices, pocketing kickbacks from contractors. Victor, blinded by ambition, ignored the red flags, delayed permits, rising costs, whispers of shoddy construction. Meanwhile, at Willow Creek, Marcus played the part of the forsaken father. He made friends with residents, joined bingo nights, but in quiet moments, he pored over Eleanor's documents. He hired a discreet lawyer, Ms. Elena Ramirez from Lexington, transferring assets into anonymous trusts. "I want to watch from afar," he told her. "Expose the rot without revealing myself." Ms. Ramirez nodded. "We can tip off regulators anonymously. Your son's project? It's over-leveraged. One push, and it falls." Marcus's first move: an anonymous email to the state's real estate board, hinting at irregularities in Riverfront Luxe. Inspectors arrived unannounced, finding code violations, cheap wiring, subpar materials. Fines piled up, $200,000. Victor scrambled, borrowing more from shady lenders to cover it. Clarissa noticed the stress. "What's wrong, honey?" she'd ask, lounging by their infinity pool. "Just business hiccups," Victor lied, but the arguments escalated. Clarissa, accustomed to luxury, started spending more, trips to Miami, a new Mercedes. Victor's minimal support to Marcus, a $500 monthly check, stopped altogether. "Dad's fine," he'd rationalize. "The home takes care of him." Marcus, monitoring from afar via Ms. Ramirez's updates, felt a mix of sorrow and resolve. "Let him feel the squeeze," he said. Winter blanketed Kentucky in snow, mirroring the chill in Victor's life. The condo project stalled. Investors pulled out after a leaked report, courtesy of Marcus's anonymous tip, exposed the violations. Derek vanished one night, leaving Victor holding $3 million in debt. "That bastard," Victor roared, punching his desk. The banks called in loans. Victor's firm crumbled. Lawsuits from buyers flooded in. Clarissa, sensing the ship sinking, filed for divorce, taking half their assets, including the BMW and the penthouse. "I didn't sign up for this, Victor," she said, packing her bags. "You promised the world." Left in a dingy rental apartment, Victor turned to alcohol, his once sharp suits rumpled. He ignored Marcus's calls, now from the nursing home payphone, dismissing them as guilt trips. But desperation grew. Creditors hounded him. His credit ruined. He couldn't even rent a car. Marcus watched it all. Ms. Ramirez provided reports. Victor's failed job interviews, his bar tabs, the eviction notice. "He's hitting bottom," she said. One evening, Victor stumbled into a dive bar, nursing a whiskey. A stranger, hired by Marcus, struck up conversation. "Heard about Riverfront Lux. Tough break." The man accidentally mentioned Derek's location in Florida, leading Victor to confront him. But Derek laughed, revealing Victor's own complicity in the shortcuts. "You signed off on it all, Vic." The police got involved. Victor faced fraud charges. Bail exhausted his last savings. Rock bottom, sleeping in his old pickup, the one he'd kept from the farm days. Chapter 4. The Prodigal's Return. Spring brought renewal, but for Victor, it was despair. Charges dropped for lack of evidence, Marcus's subtle intervention via Ms. Ramirez, but the damage was done. Broke, alone, he drove to Willow Creek, hat in hand. "Dad," he said, standing in Marcus's room, eyes downcast. I messed up. Everything's gone. Can I stay here? Just until I get back on my feet?" Marcus, feigning frailty, nodded. "Of course, son. Family's family." Victor moved into a spare cot, taking odd jobs, mowing lawns, delivering pizzas. Humiliation burned, but hunger taught humility. He helped at the home, reading to residents, fixing leaks. Conversations with Marcus deepened. "I thought money was everything, Dad, but look at me now." Marcus listened, planting seeds. "Money's a tool, Victor, not the root." After months, when Victor showed true change, volunteering at a food bank, apologizing sincerely, Marcus arranged the meeting. Chapter 5. The Revelation and Rebirth. In Ms. Ramirez's office, Victor sat confused. "Why are we here, Dad?" Marcus revealed the envelope, the vault, the fortune. "Mom built this. She knew you'd stray, but believed you'd return." Victor's jaw dropped. Documents proved it. $15 million in assets. You let me fall?" "To rise stronger," Marcus said. "Humility, son. Family over fortune." Tears flowed. Victor embraced him. "I get it now." They rebuilt. Victor started a community farm program on reclaimed land, teaching urban kids agriculture. Philanthropy followed. Scholarships, food drives. Father and son, bonded anew, tended the legacy Eleanor left. Epilogue. Seeds of Tomorrow. Years later, the Harlan farm bloomed again, not as a relic, but a beacon. Marcus, at 85, watched Victor lead tours, his grandson, born to Victor's new, grounded wife, playing in the fields. The hidden legacy had done its work, turning greed to grace, loss to love.